All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7. This is now for episode 3. It is called Cindy Hawkins. Alright, and possible spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet for Fear the Walking Dead, you want to go ahead and watch it before you watch this review. So, I'm going to go ahead and, do this review now with you guys. This episode was not released on time for everybody, depending on your location. Certain people with AMC Plus were able to see it on Sunday, the usual release time, but a lot of us, maybe depending on country or whatnot, didn't get it. I didn't get it until late last night, so very late Sunday night when I was finally able to see it, pretty much Monday morning at that point. So in this episode, we get to find out what's been happening with John Dorie Sr. and June. And they went into the bunker as the nuke went off in Season 6 and Season 6 finale. And they have basically been surviving there since that point, since that happened. And so we kind of get to see in this episode a progression with them in terms of time and how they've been living in this very confined space. So as the episode progresses, we're kind of getting to see how they're living in this little bunker space where everything is really kind of closed in and they don't have a whole lot of room. But it seems like they have enough as far as food is concerned. And they've got he's pedaling to power the thing and everything. And it does seem like they get the sense that at some point they're going to have to leave, as it does look like there's certain parts of the bunker that are kind of, soil is kind of coming in slowly, what have you, or it just kind of looks like it, it's not going to last forever. At some point, eventually, they will need to leave. Now, you do have some pretty good stuff here for John Dorie Sr., where he's kind of starting to crack up in the bunker, which makes sense, considering how confined they are, considering what just happened. And then there is a part where they find sort of a secret compartment or secret section where there was an embalming room that Teddy had. And so it touches back to the rivalry that he had with Teddy and them not having been able to find where Teddy's victims were. So in this one, he kind of finds out that it's in another section of the bunker, and that's why they were never able to find where Teddy was taking his victims or what he was doing with the women that he was, with. So, really liked Teddy last season. Thought he was an awesome kind of bad guy. John Dorie Sr. is okay for me. I really didn't think we would see him again this season. I thought he'd probably be killed off before the end of last season. In that spoiler warning, John was killed last season. Now, the actor who played John went to do Army of the Dead. So he's in the movie Army of the Dead, which is on Netflix if you want to see it. It is a lot of fun. Batista's in it and that kind of thing. It is good. It's kind of a fun movie, but I think that maybe John was likely killed off because of that role. Maybe it'd be okay if, the actor that gets is Matthew, right? If he maybe was in a different movie, but because it was a zombie movie, which is kind of like a conflict with Walking Dead, because it's the same thing, right? Army of the Dead and Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead. So it sounds like they decided to kill him off. Now they've kind of put in John Sr. here sort of instead as June's father-in-law. So obviously you don't have, it's a little bit of a different type of relationship, obviously, than it was with June and John, husband and wife, father-in-law and June in this one. And basically you have John, as he's finding Teddy's room and as he's found what's what he was doing and everything, is kind of haunted by his experience in trying to stop Teddy and sort of kind of almost not being able to, but I guess he sort of did in the end with what we saw in Season 6 and everything with Dakota. So this is, so he starts being haunted by some or one of the girls that was one of the victims of Teddy, and starts to kind of lose it. So he's kind of haunted by this maybe one of the ones that he was not able to save, one of the victims, and so he's haunted by this, and he's starting to kind of crack up. He's getting the shakes and this kind of stuff. So, but June is kind of taking care of him as best as she can. Now, at some point here, they run into this group that we don't really know who they are because we can't see any of them that are wearing all the suits and everything. And, then eventually John has to go and kind of, fight them off. John Sr. fights them off, beats them. And then we see kind of like the bunker sort of, start to collapse to the soil. So then we see them wake up in the tower with Strand. So it seems they are kind of sort of rescued by Strand in this one. Which is good stuff, and I like the way they're setting up Strand. Then you have Morgan, who goes and kind of looks for them in the bunker and gets a notice from Strand via the walkie-talkie that Strand has them. They're safe, but you definitely have a rivalry going here between Strand and Morgan. The two do not see eye to eye. They do not like each other, and it seems that Morgan takes it personally what Strand tried to do last season when he tried to get him killed and everything, or kill him and everything. And so, Strand is taking in other people as a part of the prior group, but is not allowing Morgan. And, so you have basically a warning given from Morgan to Strand that if he finds out he's hurting anybody, that he's going to come after him, and he's going to do what Victor tried to do to him. Okay, so that's kind of a recap of the episode. Next week's, it looks like it's going to be focused on Sarah, with the bounty hunter's twin kind of coming back, and that maybe with Morgan as well too. We'll see. So most of the episode taking place in the bunker, and most of the things happening in the bunker, and then when John kind of leaves the bunker. So it's a very close episode. Everything is really close together and kind of claustrophobic in some ways. I will say this for Fear of the Walking Dead. So season 6 was amazing. It was one of the best seasons Fear has ever had. Maybe it's the best season they've ever had, 3 and 6. Maybe with 6 taking it as the best season, maybe it bested 3. This season so far, 3 episodes in, has been quite lackluster for me. While I always do enjoy seeing Walking Dead, and I enjoy the rivalry between Strand and Morgan, and I like that, they're still doing kind of the sectioned off episodes for the most part, and then you just have, like, in the last, part of the episode, 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, the crossover with the other characters in it. So this one I didn't like as much. This is probably my least favorite episode of this season so far. John Dory Sr., I kind of feel like is sort of like an add-on character for John. I think he was okay when he had Teddy to play off against, and the stuff involving Teddy in this is decent enough. It's it's good enough, but I didn't really foresee John Sr. as being like an ongoing character. I looked at him more as like one that, because of what happened with John and John being killed off and everything, that John Sr. wouldn't likely survive that long, in that I don't think he's a carry as far as a character goes himself. I view him as an add-on from John, and so I wouldn't expect to see him survive out season 7. I expect to see him be likely killed off at some point. He's okay. He's like an older guy and stuff, so it makes sense that he'd be haunted by this and kind of cracking up and everything in the bunker. And anybody, that could happen to anybody with living there for a while, with everything so close quarters to you, and everything so dark all the time and everything. That's a difficult place to live for more than maybe a couple of days or something. So I did not enjoy this episode as much, and going into this season is very strange to me because season 6 was so incredible, so amazingly well done. And doing the nuke and doing all this stuff was so really cool to see. A big nuke goes off, and it's really exciting and stuff. And the villains were awesome with Virginia and everything that happened with that, and then also with Teddy after. So it makes me think shouldn't give up on season 7 yet, but definitely even in last week's episode, it started to sort of nag on me in episode 2 for season 7, where you're seeing everybody in the suits all the time, the walkers, everything really gross. Now, when he goes up out of the bunker in this one, it really feels like a set to me. And I understand they have limited budget. They got to get an episode done every week and whatnot. That whole thing. It's ambitious of them to do not just a zombie apocalypse, but a zombie apocalypse with the nuclear fallout added in there as well too. And I feel like maybe they bit off a little bit more than they could handle. Maybe they bit off a little bit more than they could chew in good zombie fashion, but in a bad way. Because coming back this season, getting to see the environments and stuff, getting to see all this, it's cool like for a minute. Like it's cool at the beginning. But then as you're seeing it more and more and more, the bunker gets quite tiresome quite quickly, even though it makes sense that you just have everybody living in these such harsh conditions this season that it's a bit of a hard watch. It's a bit painful to see them like have to do this. And then when you do see your favorite characters like a Morgan or whoever, they're totally souped out. So you aside from the weapon and getting to see their eyes, like you wouldn't even know it's them. So it feels very and I don't know if this is necessarily a fault of them or anything. It's just the way the story's going, but it feels very impersonal. It feels very kind of like a painful environment to see them in. And the bunker as well too in this one too. It's very gloomy, it's very bleak, but to a point where it's like too bleak, I want to say. And I felt that way a little bit in episode 2, but it had a cool ending, so that was all right. So I like that. But now that we're into the 3rd episode, I'm like, oh man, I hope this doesn't drag on too long. And definitely when John goes up above the bunker, it felt like a set like crazy. Like it didn't look... To me, that was one of the only times I think I've watched Walking Dead, be it original or Fear, or even World Beyond, where I saw a scene and it was like, okay, yeah, clearly they're on a set, right? Like it was like NASA level set shit. So it was just really not. It didn't sell it for me at all, and so I was like, I don't know. So this is my least favorite episode out of the first 3 this season. I'm gonna give it a 6.9 out of 10. That's very low considering what we've kind of been seeing for Fear and how great season 6 was, but that's how I felt about it. I wasn't so into the John Dory senior storyline that much. It was okay, but I don't feel like it's enough to hold down the whole episode. The Strand versus Morgan stuff's probably the best stuff for me right now, but the environments, it's just not nearly as cool as week to week as I thought it would be. From seasons like, oh, there's a nuke and Fallout there, this is going to be amazing, and getting to see it this season, it's like, no, it's it's really dry, it's really bleak, it's really bland, and it's quite artificial. Or you're in the tower and you zoom down from, like, you look down from John's perspective, senior's perspective, and you see all these walkers like at the tower, but they all just look like video game CG. Like it just didn't look real to me. It didn't feel real to me at all. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this episode. I don't think it's a great episode for Walking Dead. And, I think from the preview, you can kind of see it's not all going to be suits all the time. So they're going to have to kind of move away from this a little bit somehow. So, and thankfully so, because it's just, it's not really working that well for me right now. That said, I still enjoy Fear, still love Walking Dead, so don't get mad at me or anything. I'm just giving my honest, review and whatnot, and I know they have a lot to do. They try to film a whole episode in like 1 week, so it's every episode is filmed in like a week for Walking Dead or so. But this one just was one of my least favorite episodes I've seen in quite a while, probably since like season 5, second half of Fear. It was one of my least favorite ones. Very, very just not engaging for me, hardly at all. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Leave your comments below. And that's it for this review. May see you guys next week for episode 4. Hope to continue to review Fear, but I hope it gets a little bit better, because it's difficult for me every week to come and do the review with you guys if I'm not enjoying it hardly at all. And right now, unfortunately, that's kind of the case. It's not very enjoyable to watch. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev. Say peace later, guys. See you soon.